that most people over 60 believe their metabolism has slowed down because of age, but the truth is, the number of birthdays you've had has very little to do with how efficiently your body burns fat. The real issue hiding beneath the surface is insulin resistance, a silent metabolic roadblock that develops slowly over the years. Imagine trying to drive your car with the parking brake on. You can press the gas pedal all you want, but you're not going anywhere fast. That's exactly what insulin resistance does to your metabolism. It keeps your fat locked away, even when you're doing everything right. Every time you eat, especially foods that contain carbohydrates, your body releases insulin, a hormone that helps move sugar into your cells. In your younger years, your cells are highly responsive to insulin. But after decades of frequent eating, snacking, and relying on high-carb meals, your cells start to tune insulin out. They become resistant. And when that happens, your body needs to release even more insulin to get the same job done. Over time, this constant insulin flood turns your body into a fat-storing machine rather than a fat-burning one. You feel tired, hungry, and foggy even after eating. You try cutting calories, but the scale won't budge. Sound familiar? That's not aging. That's insulin resistance in action. Here's where it gets interesting. Insulin is not just a storage hormone. It's also a fat-blocking hormone. When insulin is high, fat burning stops completely. Your body can't access the fat stored in your midsection for energy because insulin won't let it. It's like having money in the bank, but the account is frozen. You can't touch it. So when you're over 60 and your insulin levels stay elevated all day from frequent meals, snacks, or even healthy foods like oatmeal or fruit juice, your body loses access to its greatest energy source, stored fat. You end up running on sugar all day, and when that sugar runs out, you crash. But here's the good news: insulin resistance isn't permanent. You can reverse it, and you can do it faster than you think. The key is to lower insulin, not through medication, but through timing and food choices. When you give your body a break from eating, insulin naturally drops and your cells become sensitive again. That's why intermittent fasting, especially in the morning, is so powerful. It gives your metabolism a rest from constant insulin exposure. Your body starts tapping into stored fat for energy, and suddenly, that stubborn belly fat begins to melt away. Not because you're eating less, but because your body is finally allowed to burn fat again. Think about this: in your 20s, you probably didn't eat 5 or 6 times a day. You had long gaps between meals without even thinking about it. And you didn't feel starved. That natural rhythm supported a healthy metabolism. But somewhere along the way, we were told to snack constantly to keep blood sugar stable. The irony is, that advice is exactly what caused unstable blood sugar and insulin resistance in the first place. When you stop constantly feeding your body sugar, you retrain your cells to use fat efficiently again. And let's talk about what happens when insulin starts to drop, because that's where the magic begins. Your energy levels start to rise. Your brain fog clears up. You begin sleeping better, and your appetite naturally shrinks. Why? Because insulin and hunger hormones like leptin and ghrelin finally start communicating properly again. Your body no longer screams for food every few hours because it has access to stored fuel, the way it was designed to work. You feel calm, steady, and focused, not ruled by cravings or sugar crashes. Here's a powerful hook to remember: you're not fighting your metabolism, you're freeing it. The problem isn't that your metabolism is old, it's that it's trapped behind a wall of insulin. Once you tear that wall down, your body quickly remembers how to burn fat, build energy, and balance hormones. And the beauty is, it doesn't take years. You can start feeling a shift within days. The moment you stop forcing your body to depend on sugar, your metabolism begins to reset. It's like flipping a switch back to your natural fat-burning mode. So when you look in the mirror and wonder why nothing seems to work anymore, don't blame time. Blame the hormonal imbalance that's been quietly running the show. The great news is you can reverse that at any age. All it takes is understanding how insulin works and giving your body the right rhythm to heal itself. Once you do that, your energy returns, your midsection starts to shrink, and your metabolism wakes up like it did decades ago. Not because of a diet, but because your body is finally working with you instead of against you. Your body is designed to burn fat, but most people unknowingly shut that process off before the day even begins. The early morning hours are when your metabolism has the highest potential to burn stored fat because insulin levels are at their lowest. Yet, the first thing many people do after waking up is eat breakfast, and not just any breakfast, but one filled with carbs, toast, juice, or cereal. The moment you do that, your insulin spikes and your fat burning switch is turned off for the entire day. What if, instead of reaching for food first thing in the morning, you allowed your body to keep doing what it naturally wants to do: burn fat? That's the idea behind extending your morning fasting window. It's not about deprivation. It's about letting your metabolism work for you, not against you. When you wake up, your body is already in a mild fasting state. You've been sleeping for 7 or 8 hours, and your insulin has had time to drop. In this low insulin environment, your body begins tapping into stored fat for energy. This is your golden window, what I like to call your fat burning power hour. But when you eat breakfast immediately upon waking, especially a high-carb one, you disrupt that process. The insulin rises sharply, fat burning halts, and your body switches back to sugar for fuel. That's why many people feel tired or hungry again just hours after breakfast. It's not because they didn't eat enough. It's because their metabolism never got a chance to burn fat in the first place. Here's the hook. By simply delaying your first meal by a few hours, you allow your metabolism to stay in fat-burning mode longer. That's the secret behind intermittent fasting, and it's especially powerful for people over 60. As we age, our cells become less responsive to insulin, which means we need longer breaks between meals to restore sensitivity. Extending your morning fast trains your body to rely on stored fat instead of constantly demanding sugar. You begin to feel more energetic, focused, and calm because your body isn't riding the blood sugar roller coaster all day. Now you might be thinking, but isn't breakfast the most important meal of the day? That's what we were told for decades, but science now shows the opposite. The traditional breakfast culture was built around marketing, not metabolism. Eating first thing in the morning works only if your body is metabolically flexible, which for most people, it isn't. When you fast into the morning, even if just until 10 or 11 a.m., your body starts using stored fat and ketones for fuel. Ketones are a clean, stable energy source for your brain and muscles. That's why people who practice morning fasting often report sharper mental clarity, fewer cravings, and better mood stability. It's not magic, it's your biology working the way it was designed to. What's fascinating is that this simple change, skipping breakfast or delaying it, can trigger a cascade of powerful metabolic benefits. Your insulin drops, your liver begins clearing fat, and your growth hormone increases, helping preserve muscle and repair tissues. You're not just burning fat, you're rejuvenating your cells from the inside out. So even your mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside your cells, begin producing energy more efficiently. That's why after a few days of consistent fasting, people often say, I feel younger. And that's not an exaggeration. They're literally experiencing a more youthful metabolism. The beauty of the morning fasting window is that it doesn't require complicated diets, expensive supplements, or calorie counting. All you're doing is shifting when you eat, not necessarily what you eat. Your body does the rest. Think of it as giving your digestive system time off and your fat cells time to release their stored energy. You're working with your natural rhythm instead of constantly interrupting it. The body thrives on rhythm, eat, rest, repair, repeat. But most people never give it the rest part, and that's why fat burning shuts down. Here's something else most people overlook. Fasting in the morning also resets hunger hormones. You begin to eat when you're actually hungry, not when the clock says you should. Over time, this retrains your brain to recognize true hunger signals, and your relationship with food becomes calmer and more intuitive. Instead of thinking about your next meal, you start feeling in control of your appetite, and that's a powerful feeling, especially after years of battling cravings and slow metabolism. So imagine this tomorrow morning. You wake up, hydrate with some water, maybe have black coffee or herbal tea, and let your body continue burning fat for a few more hours. You don't feel weak or dizzy, you feel alert, light, and focused. Around mid-morning, when your body truly signals hunger, you enjoy a nutrient-dense meal, eggs, avocado, greens, maybe a handful of nuts. That meal now works with your metabolism, not against it. You'll notice that you stay satisfied for hours and that mid-afternoon crash disappears. It's a small change, but it creates massive results. By simply respecting your body's natural morning rhythm, you reignite your fat-burning engine. You start feeling younger, lighter, and more in control, not because of a diet, but because you've finally learned how to let your body do what it's been trying to do all along: burn fat first, feed later. Most people overlook the simplest, most natural way to wake up their metabolism each morning. They reach for coffee, a muffin, or juice, hoping to spark some energy, but what they're really doing is spiking insulin and shutting down fat burning before the day even begins. What if instead, you could start your morning with a drink that not only boosts your energy, but also activates your liver, balances your blood sugar, and begins melting away stored fat? There's a reason I call this the morning metabolism reset. It's a powerful yet simple mixture that's been around for centuries. Warm water, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a half a lemon, and a pinch of sea salt. Sounds too easy to work, right? But the science behind this combination is incredibly strong, and once you understand how it works, you'll see why so many people notice a transformation in just days. Let's start with the key player, apple cider vinegar. This ancient tonic has a remarkable ability to improve insulin sensitivity, which is the foundation of fat loss after 60. When you drink it before eating, it helps slow down the release of glucose into your bloodstream, preventing insulin spikes and making it easier for your body to access stored fat. It's like giving your metabolism a head start before the day begins. But it's not just about fat burning. Apple cider vinegar also enhances digestion. supporting your stomach acid levels so you can absorb more nutrients from your food later in the day. The result, more energy, fewer cravings, and a digestive system that finally starts working with you again. Now, let's talk about the lemon. It's not just for flavor. It's a natural liver stimulant. Your liver is your main fat-burning organ, and when it's sluggish or congested, fat loss becomes nearly impossible. Lemon juice helps thin out bile, which is the fluid your liver uses to break down fat. If bile becomes thick or sluggish, your liver struggles to process toxins and stored fat properly. Adding lemon to your morning drink helps flush your liver, clearing out the metabolic waste that's been building up from years of processed foods, medications, and stress. Think of it as a daily liver tune-up that sets the tone for the rest of your day. The pinch of sea salt might seem like a small detail, but it plays a major role in supporting your adrenals. These small glands above your kidneys regulate cortisol, your stress hormone. After 60, cortisol balance becomes critical because when it's too high, it blocks fat burning. When it's too low, it causes fatigue, dizziness, and salt cravings. Sea salt provides trace minerals like magnesium and sodium, which support proper adrenal function. By adding just a pinch to your morning drink, you stabilize your energy and keep cortisol in check throughout the day. That's one of the reasons why this drink doesn't just help you burn fat. It also makes you feel calm, clear, and balanced. And when you combine all three, apple cider vinegar, lemon, and sea salt in warm water, you create a synergy that wakes up your entire system. It jumpstarts digestion, balances hormones, rehydrates your body after a night's rest, and prepares your metabolism to burn fat efficiently. Within minutes of drinking it, many people notice sharper mental clarity and smoother digestion. Within a few days, bloating begins to disappear, energy feels cleaner, and that morning sluggishness fades away. You're not just drinking a detox, you're sending a direct signal to your body. It's time to reset. Here's where it gets even more interesting. When this drink is combined with morning fasting, it amplifies fat burning. Since you're not eating right away, insulin stays low, and the apple cider vinegar further enhances fat mobilization from the liver. You're essentially teaching your body to use its own stored fuel more effectively. That's why this small morning ritual can have such a dramatic impact in such a short time. It doesn't require any special supplements, no diet pills, and no extreme routines, just a few natural ingredients and consistency. Here's a powerful hook. Your metabolism doesn't wake up because you eat, it wakes up because your body starts to clean itself out. That's exactly what this morning drink does. It signals your liver to detoxify, your cells to hydrate, and your metabolism to shift gears. It's the simplest way to remind your body how to function the way it was designed to, efficiently and energetically. Imagine starting your day this way for the next 7 mornings. You wake up, drink this warm mixture slowly, and give your body a few quiet hours before your first meal. By day 3, your digestion feels lighter and your energy lasts longer. By day 5, the bloating starts to fade and your waistline begins to tighten. And by day 7, you notice something powerful. Your body doesn't crave sugar or snacks the way it used to. That's because your liver is cleaner, your insulin is steadier, and your metabolism has been reset. This morning drink may look simple, but what it does inside your body is extraordinary. It's not a quick fix, it's a daily ritual that rebuilds your metabolism from the ground up. When it comes to weight loss and energy after 60, most people only focus on diet and exercise, but there's a hidden factor that silently determines your results: cortisol. This stress hormone can make or break your metabolism. You can eat clean, fast properly, and even exercise regularly, but if cortisol is running too high or too low, your fat-burning engine will remain stuck in neutral. The fascinating part is that cortisol isn't the enemy, it's actually essential. You need it in the right balance to wake up in the morning, stay alert, and burn fat for fuel. The problem begins when this balance is lost, and for most people over 60, it already is. Years of chronic stress, poor sleep, caffeine overload, and blood sugar spikes cause cortisol to stay elevated far longer than it should, leading to stubborn belly fat, low energy, and restless nights. When cortisol levels stay high, your liver starts producing more glucose, your insulin rises, and your body shifts into fat storage mode. You might even notice that your appetite changes. You crave carbs, salt, or sugar, not because you're hungry, but because your brain is demanding instant energy to handle stress. That's why high cortisol not only leads to belly fat, but also muscle loss, fatigue, and that wired but tired feeling. You might fall asleep exhausted but wake up in the middle of the night, mind racing, body restless. This is one of the biggest reasons why people in their 60s feel drained despite eating right. Their cortisol rhythm is completely flipped. High at night when it should be low, and low in the morning when it should naturally rise. Here's where the morning trick becomes your secret weapon. The simple act of delaying breakfast, keeping your body in a fasting state, and drinking the morning reset mixture. Warm water with lemon, apple cider vinegar, and sea salt helps your adrenal glands reset their rhythm. In the morning, cortisol should naturally peak, giving you steady, calm energy to start your day. But if you immediately flood your system with sugar, caffeine, or a high-carb breakfast, you send cortisol even higher. Your body then compensates by crashing later, which leads to afternoon fatigue and evening hunger. By fasting gently in the morning, you give cortisol space to normalize. It rises naturally, fuels your energy, and begins to fall smoothly by midday. Exactly how your body was designed to function. Here's a hook that most people never realize: when cortisol is balanced, fat burning becomes effortless. You don't have to fight your cravings or push yourself through workouts. Your metabolism begins to flow naturally because cortisol and insulin start working in harmony again. One signals your body to release stored fat, while the other keeps your blood sugar steady. Together, they create the perfect environment for weight loss and energy stability. Now, let's talk about the relationship between cortisol and sleep, because they're deeply connected. When your cortisol pattern is off, melatonin, your sleep hormone, can't function properly. That's why you might fall asleep easily but wake up between 2 and 4 a.m. unable to drift back to sleep. Your liver is overworking, your blood sugar is dipping, and your cortisol is spiking to compensate. But when you start your mornings right, no sugar, no processed breakfast, you retrain your cortisol to rise at the right time. After a few days, your energy becomes smoother, your sleep deepens, and you wake up feeling refreshed instead of drained. This isn't about adding another supplement, it's about restoring your body's natural hormone rhythm through timing and awareness. Here's another thing most people don't realize, high cortisol doesn't just affect your energy, it affects your muscle mass. Cortisol breaks down protein to create glucose, meaning chronic stress literally eats away at your muscle tissue. And muscle is your metabolic engine. The less muscle you have, the slower your metabolism becomes. That's why after 60, it's crucial to protect your muscle mass by managing stress and supporting your adrenals. The morning routine does both. By starting your day calmly, staying hydrated, and fasting for a few hours, you send your body a message of safety. Cortisol lowers naturally, inflammation drops, and your body begins to preserve muscle and burn fat instead. Picture this: you wake up tomorrow morning, skip the heavy breakfast, sip on your metabolism drink, and give yourself 2-3 hours before eating. You feel steady, calm, and focused. No jittery caffeine buzz, no sugar crash. Throughout the day, your cravings decrease, your energy remains consistent, and that midday slump disappears. By evening, you feel relaxed instead of anxious. That's not coincidence. That's cortisol finding its balance. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't rely on willpower. You're not forcing your body to burn fat. You're removing the obstacles that prevent it. Balanced cortisol equals better metabolism, deeper sleep, sharper focus, and a leaner midsection. Once this hormone falls back into rhythm, everything else follows. You start feeling lighter, not just physically, but mentally. The stress that once felt overwhelming begins to fade because your body and mind are finally aligned again. This is what real metabolic healing looks like, not another diet or workout plan, but restoring the natural harmony your body once had and still remembers how to find. When you reach your 60s, your body's priorities begin to shift. Calories matter far less than nutrients. You can eat less and still gain weight if your meals are empty of real nutrition. That's because your metabolism doesn't slow down from age, it slows down from deficiency. Your cells are starving for vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that drive the biochemical reactions responsible for energy, repair, and fat burning. Think of your metabolism like an engine. If you pour low-quality fuel into it, it sputters and stalls. But if you give it high-octane fuel, nutrient-dense foods, it comes roaring back to life. This is why counting calories is outdated. What truly matters is what those calories contain. After 60, your focus should shift from eating less to eating smarter. Here's the hook. The reason most people struggle with weight and fatigue as they age isn't because they're eating too much, it's because their body is malnourished on a cellular level. You can be full but still starving inside. Processed foods, even healthy low-fat snacks or cereals, are stripped of nutrients that your mitochondria, your cell's energy factories, depend on. When your mitochondria are undernourished, they produce less energy. Less energy means slower metabolism, more fatigue, and a body that holds onto fat for survival. But when you start giving your body nutrient-dense foods, like eggs, avocados, wild-caught fish, leafy greens, and cruciferous vegetables, everything begins to change. Your mitochondria wake up, your metabolism speeds up, and your body starts burning fat more efficiently. Berg often emphasizes the power of nutrient density because it addresses the root of metabolic decline, cellular dysfunction. Each cell in your body relies on a delicate balance of minerals like potassium, magnesium, and zinc, along with vitamins like B1, B6, and D3 to perform its functions. These nutrients act as the spark plugs that keep your metabolic engine running. When they're missing, energy production slows, hormones become unbalanced, and cravings spiral out of control. The body's natural instinct is to seek food, not realizing what it truly needs is nutrition, not calories. That's why many people over 60 feel hungry all the time even when they've eaten enough. It's the body's cry for real nutrients. When you start prioritizing nutrient-rich foods, you'll notice changes that go far beyond weight loss. Your energy becomes more stable, your mood improves, and your mental clarity sharpens. For example, foods like leafy greens and avocados provide potassium, which supports your muscles, heart, and adrenal glands. Cruciferous vegetables like kale and broccoli help your liver detoxify excess estrogen and toxins, allowing it to burn fat more effectively. Healthy fats like olive oil, nuts, and grass-fed butter stabilize your hormones and keep you full longer, reducing the urge to snack. And don't forget high-quality proteins: eggs, salmon, chicken, and even organ meats, which provide amino acids your body uses to build muscle, repair tissues, and maintain metabolic balance. Here's the interesting part: the more nutrient-dense your meals become, the less food you actually need. Your body starts sending clear, accurate hunger signals. You eat when you're truly hungry and stop when you're full, naturally, without willpower or restriction. That's because nutrient-dense eating restores communication between your gut, liver, and brain. It's like repairing a broken circuit. Suddenly, your body knows what to do again. You'll find yourself eating fewer meals, craving fewer snacks, and feeling satisfied for hours. This alone can dramatically lower insulin, which, as you now know, is the key to unlocking fat loss. Another powerful benefit of focusing on nutrient density is that it protects your muscle mass, something critical after 60. Muscle isn't just for strength, it's metabolically active tissue that keeps your metabolism running fast. Without enough protein and minerals, muscle breaks down and metabolism slows even more. Nutrient-dense foods provide the building blocks your body needs to maintain and even rebuild muscle. Combine this with intermittent fasting and moderate resistance training, and your metabolism will begin to feel years younger. What's remarkable is how quickly the body responds once you start feeding it real nutrition. Within days, you'll notice your cravings diminish. Within a week or two, your energy stabilizes, and within a month, your body composition begins to shift. Less fat, more tone, better focus, and steadier mood. Your skin starts to glow, and your digestion improves, and you begin to feel like your body is finally working for you, not against you. This isn't just a diet upgrade, it's a full metabolic awakening. Here's the real hook: you don't need complicated supplements or exotic superfoods. Your metabolism thrives on simplicity. Nature already provided what your cells need. A plate filled with real food, eggs, greens, avocados, olive oil, nuts, fish, and cruciferous vegetables, contains more healing power than any pill or powder. Once your cells get the message that nutrients are abundant, they stop holding onto fat for survival. Instead, they shift back into growth, repair, and energy mode. That's when your metabolism resets itself naturally. After 60, the key to feeling youthful isn't about eating less, it's about feeding your body more intelligently. When you give it nutrient-dense foods, you awaken the energy that's been sleeping inside you. You're not just nourishing your body, you're reprogramming it to thrive again. Most people don't realize that your metabolism isn't controlled just by what you eat. It's governed by your sleep-wake rhythm. This is your internal clock or circadian rhythm, and it dictates when your body burns fat, when it stores energy, and even when your hormones switch on and off. When you hit your 60s, that rhythm starts to drift out of sync, often because of stress, late night eating, poor sleep, or too much artificial light. The result: your metabolism becomes confused. It doesn't know when to burn or when to rest, and you start gaining weight even when you're eating clean. Here's the hook: you can eat perfectly, exercise daily, and still struggle to lose weight if your circadian rhythm is off. But if you reset it, your body becomes a fat-burning machine again, even in your 60s and beyond. When you wake up and expose your eyes to natural sunlight within the first 20 minutes, something powerful happens. Your brain receives a signal through the optic nerve that tells your hypothalamus, the master control center of metabolism, to start the day. Cortisol rises naturally, which is a good thing in the morning because it wakes you up and increases energy. At the same time, melatonin, your sleep hormone, shuts down. This switch between melatonin and cortisol is what triggers your metabolic system to start burning energy efficiently. But when you skip morning sunlight, wake up late, or check your phone in bed, your body's rhythm becomes scrambled. It doesn't know what time it is, and that confusion carries into your metabolism, your mood, and even your hunger cues. Berg often emphasizes how simple yet profound this morning reset can be. You don't need caffeine to jumpstart your body. What you truly need is light, real, natural light. Just 10-15 minutes of morning sun can elevate serotonin, boost metabolism, and balance your internal clock. This small act sets the tone for your entire day. It helps regulate insulin sensitivity, so your body becomes better at using glucose for fuel instead of storing it as fat. It also helps your thyroid, the gland that controls metabolism, stay in harmony with your energy demands. People over 60 who adopt this morning sunlight routine often report not only better energy, but also deeper sleep, clearer thinking, and easier fat loss. It's one of the most natural metabolic switches available. Now, combine that with a proper morning drink, something that hydrates, nourishes, and signals your body that it's time to burn, not store. Warm lemon water with sea salt and a dash of apple cider vinegar can do wonders here. It rehydrates your cells after hours of sleep, replenishes electrolytes, and stimulates digestion. This early hydration supports the liver, which is your body's fat-burning organ. When your liver is clean and hydrated, it metabolizes fats more efficiently and produces ketones, your body's preferred energy source when you're fasting or eating low carb. So, that simple morning ritual of sunlight plus hydration is like pressing the reset button on your entire metabolic system. There's another layer to this, your eating window. When you align your meals with your natural circadian rhythm, your metabolism becomes more efficient. Eating your first meal mid-morning or around noon, after your body has been awake for several hours, allows insulin to stay low and fat burning to stay high. At night, finishing your last meal at least 3 hours before bed gives your body time to digest and detoxify while you sleep. This synchronization between your environment, your habits, and your hormones is what truly resets your metabolism. It's not about deprivation. It's about rhythm. When you eat, sleep, and move in harmony with your body's clock, your energy stabilizes, your sleep deepens, and your metabolism begins to perform like it did decades ago. Here's a fascinating fact. Your mitochondria, those tiny energy factories inside every cell, also have their own circadian clocks. They respond directly to light and food timing. When your light exposure and eating schedule are erratic, your mitochondria can't synchronize, and that chaos leads to slower energy production. But when you establish a consistent morning ritual, sunlight exposure, hydration, gentle movement, and delayed eating, your mitochondria wake up in unison. They begin producing ATP, your body's energy currency, at full capacity. That's when you start to feel that natural, steady energy throughout the day. The kind that doesn't crash mid-afternoon. The most powerful part of this is how fast the effects can appear. Within just 7 days of aligning your morning routine with your circadian rhythm, your sleep improves, your appetite stabilizes, and your cravings begin to fade. You start waking up refreshed without needing coffee to function. Your belly feels lighter, digestion becomes smoother, and your mental focus sharpens. It's your body's way of saying, "Thank you for finally listening to my clock." This isn't some complex biohack, it's simply giving your biology what it's been craving: rhythm, sunlight, and rest. And here's the final hook. Your metabolism doesn't age, your habits do. Your body's ability to burn fat, build energy, and repair itself remains intact at 60, 70, even 80 years old. You just have to reactivate it by returning to the natural rhythms your biology evolved with. Every morning is an opportunity to reset that clock. Step outside, feel the sun on your face, hydrate your body, and move gently. These small, consistent actions do more to restore your metabolism than any diet, supplement, or medication ever could. Your body was designed to heal itself. All it needs is the right rhythm to remember how.